everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things, and I have a book review for you today. Also, I think my coffee creamer's going bad. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So I got to finally read Anxious People after waiting since January 3rd. So I was waiting through Libby, from the library. It's my library app, one of them. I have 3. One of them I don't really use. It's called, I have a Boundless, and I have Libby, and I have another one. But the other one that I can't remember the name of, I don't use it very often because it's confusing to use. So I just kind of stay away from that one unless I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't find this book anywhere and I don't have it. Um, so that being said, I went through Libby because that's the only place that I could find it, and I put my little hold, like I want to be in line for this book, and I was the second person in line. And I was like, cool, I should have this book in like a few weeks because it's only like 10 hours long. Like, it'll be fine. And then whoever had the book put another, like, made it so they borrow it for another 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, maybe they just didn't get to it. That's fine. That's fine. I have other stuff to read. And then February happened, and we got sick just when we were supposed to take our physical books back to that library, and they were overdue, so they canceled and put like a block on all of the stuff that was attached to my card, so I couldn't use Libby, and it kicked me out of line. But I got that cleared up pretty fast. And so, like, only like a week and a half. Okay. I didn't have access to any of my books on my tablet. And I was like, okay. I was sick anyway. I wasn't going to be doing any listening or reading because my brain was too oversensitive at the time. And then I got back on the wait list, and whoever had that book must have given it back and then reborrowed it because that's the only way you can do that before I had a chance to snag it. Because whoever had it got it back again. I'm sure of it. It was the same person. And so I was still waiting for this book. And I finally got it, and I was so excited. I was like, oh, I want to read it right now. I just want to listen to it. I just want to get it over with. But I was listening to Fourth Wing, so it had to wait until I was done because I was like halfway done with Fourth. I'm glad that I listened to Fourth Wing. Anyway, so looking at my little fancy bookshelf here, Anxious People is written right here. I don't know if you can see that. Kind of blurry. That is where I put that one. And I checked it off on my reading challenge. I moved way too fast. It was the first book on my reading challenge, and I finally got to check it off, and I was so excited. And it went into my A to Z challenge right there on A for Anxious. And it went on my orange for my Reading the Rainbow. And I was just super excited. Okay. Let me find Oh, you know what? I'm so sorry. I was so excited to tell you my feelings about this book, I forgot to read the, summary. I pulled it up on my phone because I realized when I pull things up over here and talk, it gets a little distant. So, looking at real estate usually isn't a life or death situation, but an apartment open house becomes just that when a failed bank robber bursts in and takes the group of strangers hostage. The captives include a recently retired couple who relentlessly hunt down fixer uppers to avoid the painful truth that they can't fix their own marriage. There's a wealthy bank director who has been too busy to care about anyone else, and a young couple who are having their first child. They can't seem to agree on anything. Add to that, add to the mix an 87-year-old woman who has lived long enough not to be afraid of someone waving a gun in her face. A flustered but still ready to make a deal real estate agent, and a mystery man who has locked himself into the apartment's only bathroom. You've got yourself the worst group of hostages in the world. Each of them carry a lifetime of grievances, hurts, secrets, and passions that are ready to boil over. None of them are entirely who they appear to be, and all of them, the bank robber included, desperately crave some sort of rescue. As the authorities and the media around the premises surround the premises, sorry, these reluctant allies will reveal surprising truths about themselves and set in motion a chain of events so unpredictable that they can hardly explain what happens next. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, let's go back to my review. Okay, so here's my little review page. Title: Anxious People. Author: Fredrik Backman. Started March 8th, 2026. Finished March 12th, 2026. I gave this 4.5 stars and one spice because, you know, we'll talk about it. Would I recommend this book? Yes. If you're over 18, yes, absolutely. Um, I was gonna say maybe if you're a little bit younger than 18 too, because this is very a find yourself story, but I don't know. Some of the topics are a little bit hard. This genre is fiction. It was 10 hours and 53 minutes long, and I forgot to check how many chapters it has, so I'm going to have to go and look that up later. Hopefully, I can find it somewhere. More by this author. My friends, the winners, my grandmother. My grandmother asked me to tell you. She's sorry. Us Against You, Beartown, a man called Ove, Ov, Of. I don't know how to pronounce it. The answer is no. The Deal of a Lifetime, and probably more. That's just where I stopped writing. My favorite character, hands down, was Estelle. She is the old lady. She was the old lady, and she really One of the first things that she says is, "Can I get anyone any food? I'm sure there's food in the kitchen. Is any you need a drink of water?" She literally gets the, um, the bank robber, hostage holder person a glass of water. Like, she's like, "Here, dear," and gives them the glass of water. Um, my favorite quote, and this was hard to choose, okay, because there were so many, like, "Oh, yeah, that's I need to remember that." "You don't have to like all children, just one. And children don't need the world's best parent, just their own parent." I was like, because I want the best for my kid, and it is so hard to get out. Sometimes I get stuck in these moments where I'm like, "Well, what if I do this and then this happens? And what if I do this and then she's scarred for life? And what if I'm not teaching her the best way that I can teach her? And she turns out, like, dumb or something." And my kid's not gonna be dumb. I know this, but when I get stuck in those moments, this quote would be so nice to hear. Especially when it's that time of year when I'm planning curriculum instead of being like, "Okay, let's just pull it out of the closet. Let's do this." Um, when I'm planning math is so hard to decide which curriculum is the best, because I know I learned one way, but she is not me. I have to keep reminding myself that. She is different. She learns different. She acts different. Well, she does like skulls. Funny story. We went to an event last weekend, before last, and somebody had made there was like a crochet thing and or knitting. I think it's crochet. And someone had made like curly french fries and a little nugget, but the nugget kind of looks like a potato because it's kind of overstuffed, and there were different ones. And my kid chose the nugget that had the cross eyes because she wanted the dead potato. And she told someone that, and she was like, "Oh, well, it's certainly, good to have your own way of thinking." And as I was reaching for the skull earrings to look at, and I was like, "Oh no, she definitely gets that from me." And she's like, "Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree." And I was like, "Anyway, kids, we definitely have things in common, but we are not the same." Um, I also have recently read a different book, and it talked about how parents usually want their kid to do what they did, like what their dream was. So, like, my dream was to be a dancer. My kid's not interested in dance class. She wants to go to gymnastics. And I'm like, "Are you sure? You sure you don't want to go to dance?" But I had to let it go because she's not me. All right, my review. This book, ma- this book made me had feelings. It showed that all different people in the apartment had oh, that word is more. Had more than one reason to be anxious, not just because there was a person with a gun. And they were dealing with things in different ways, or just pushing them down. It showed that parenthood is stressful from the beginning to even the end when your kids are an adult and you're an old person. This book had about 12 different POVs. I'm not sure, I didn't count. I just threw that number in. And for part of the book, the hostage. Right. For part of the book, the hostages are playing dumb. But you don't know that for sure until later, towards the end, when you learn the truth of what happened in the apartment. And they're just trying to keep the secret from Jack, the younger police officer, because the older police officer is also in on it. This book is. Oh, okay. I wrote too fast. I missed a whole bunch of words. I want this book in book form so that I can have it on my shelf so I can read it again. Um, a warning. This book has talks of suicide and thoughts of suicide and death of parents and hints at some sort of child abuse from one of the person's point of views. From like, they're like, oh god, what if my kid has to start doing this like I did when I was a kid because mom did this. Yeah. um I wrote it in orange. I feel like orange was like the perfect color. Like orange, anxiety, yes. So when you first start this book, you're like, what the heck is going on? People people are talking in circles and not even about what they're supposed to be like. The young police officer is asking questions and they're just off doing their own thing and he's like, can we please get back to the topic? Where were blah 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 blah, like what happened to the or the bad guy? Okay. And there is a bit of a moment in the book. Oh, that's like a huge. It's something. Okay, it's something about the bank robber turned hostage person. That you're like, oh, oh, okay, because they need money. Obviously, why else do you try to rob a bank? And they've never done it before, obviously, because the one bank that they decide to try to hold up is a cashless bank. And the person, the bank teller, she's like 20 years old, and the bank robber, trying not to use their voice so that there's no indicators of who they are, gives them the piece of paper, and the girl goes, "That's such a weird number." Like, if you're gonna rob a bank, you should totally just like ask for an outrageous number so you can try to get more money, and then you'll have extra money. This is nothing. Also, how stupid are you? And she's like, "You know you're trying to rob." Like, she says it really loud. And I guess somebody alerts the police. A cashless bank? We don't have cash. Um, and so the bank robber takes off with their gun and goes through the first open door they see, which is an apartment. And there are so many things happening. okay, that they don't realize that all these shoes are outside the door because when you go in to see a place, you're not supposed to wear your shoes because your feet might be dirty. And so they get in there, and one person bursts into tears. "Oh my gosh, we're being robbed!" And another person yells, "We don't carry cash!" And it's just like chaos. And through the whole hostage situation, every time some like the bank robbers like, "Y'all are the worst hostages ever." Um, and no one thinks that the gun is real. And so later, when everyone is leaving the apartment, it goes off and there is blood on the floor, lots of it. So the police automatically think, "Oh, he's wounded and we got to find him and, at least take care of him." Like all of the hostages seem fine and I don't think anyone's going to press charges. And they're just trying to make sure that they don't die. I can't tell you what happens. It is such a funny book. There's so much going on. It's funny, and then there are emotional parts where you're like, "Oh my gosh, I have felt that way before as a parent, as a spouse." There's always that little bit of doubt in your head that you're not good enough, and this book definitely hits on it. And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I need this book." It was good, and I definitely recommend it. And I can't tell you. There is so much in this book that I just want to tell you all of it, but I'm trying to start doing less spoiler videos because I know people don't like that. And there are a few twists in this book, and I really enjoyed how there was connections. I can tell you who the connections were between, and then if you'll understand once you read the book. So the bank owner, she's like rich and snobby, and she only goes to apartment viewings to just view them. Like she doesn't actually need a place to live. She has money, and so she's snobby. She didn't take off her shoes. She's very like ugh, about everything, and she has a connection to the young police officer via her therapist, who has only just started being a therapist, so she only has, like, a handful of clients, including this rich lady, and they also have a connection other than being her therapist, but the therapist doesn't know until later. Um, and so there's, like, this nice little weaving, and everyone is somehow connected to the bridge that can be seen from the balcony of this apartment, and it was very interesting, and it ends with some of it ends with the bridge. Um, I ah, um, I don't know what else to say. Oh, it was so good. Okay, okay. I definitely recommend listening to it. It was good. Like I said, I want it on in book form also, so that I can just read it whenever I feel like it. I found it on Libby. You might be able to find it on Libby too. Hopefully, whoever borrows it before you doesn't have it for 2 months. Um, it was really stressful. I was like, "I just need to read it." My friend had read it, and she was like, "Oh, this is a good book." And, yeah, so good. Um, like this video if you like this video. Comment below, have you read Anxious People? Yes or no? Comment below, are you a parent? Because if you're a parent, you definitely need to read it. I know. If when people tell me I need to read something, I don't normally wanna read it, but it was really good. I don't even remember I think I saw this someone else reviewing the book, and they don't even have kids, and they were like, "Oh my goodness." It made them cry or whatever. I did get choked up a few times. But I was also I'm like, sometimes I'm super emotional and sometimes I'm just like, "Oh, nice. Okay." And then other times I'm like, "Oh my goodness. It was so sweet." Darn emotions. Um, yeah. Okay, I know that, Fredrik Backman apparently all of his books are really good, so I think I'm gonna be looking for some more books by him in the future. Um, oh, okay. So I said Estelle was my favorite character. There is talk about okay, how do I tell you without spoiling it? Okay. Um, so she there's a walk-in closet, and one of the ladies has been tricking her husband, kind of. Okay, she's not tricking him. She's setting it up so that when they get a place, it ends up being cheaper because of a crazy neighbor or loud music from next door or a a bunny pooping in the bathroom. I don't know, random stuff, okay? And so he's mad, like big mad because they have kids, okay? So you know. And they're very, like, estranged, I guess, because this is all they have in common is he finds the house and does the work that needs to be done, like fixing baseboards or whatever, and then she decorates it. And she's not really into this, but because he always let her do her job, she was really good at whatever her job was, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, this is your time. You're shining at your job. You go do that." And, she got to go on all the trips or whatever, and when it was he sh she finally was like, "Okay, now it's your turn." And just when she was giving the reins over to him, the job that he had was like, "Actually, we don't need you anymore." And so he pivoted to, "Oh, we're gonna be house hunting people. We're gonna fix them up. We're gonna be fixer uppers." And she was like, "Okay." And so they never like they sold the house they lived in with their kids, and they started moving from house to house to house and living out of hotels. And she's like, "I don't want that. I want to settle down. I want to go to the movies with you." And there's this whole part about IKEA and how Um, there are I think she's like, there's like 27 IKEAs within this driving distance of where they were right then, and they'd been to all of them. And to celebrate, her husband was like, "Let's get our own slices of cake," and she was like, um, so she was trying to help him with his dream. She thought that fixing up houses was his thing, and she's like, "I don't like this." And so she had been trying to help him, and when he found out, he took it as like she thought he wasn't good enough to do it on his own, and was very harsh with her. And okay, when you first read it, he's like, "Who is he?" And you think the first thing he's gonna jump to is like an affair. No, no, he definitely knew that she was rigging the system. And everyone else in the apartment was like, "Oh, do you have two?" She's like, I just wanted to help you get places cheaper." Anyway, so they have this huge blow up moment. He punches the guy in the face, and she runs off to the closet to cry because her mom always told her, "You don't cry in front of people." So after some time went by, the pregnant lady comes in and she's like, "Hey, can I come in here? It's really uh, I just gotta get away from my girl or my wife, not my girl. I was gonna say my girlfriend, but that wasn't. They're married." And she's like, yeah, I guess." And so they start talking, and then the old lady comes in, and she was like, starts talking about affairs, and she was like, "I almost had an affair once." And both of the younger ladies were like, "Oh, no, like we don't want to we don't want to talk about this." But she was like, "Yes, he was my neighbor, and we exchanged books in the elevator." Okay, well, is that's not really an affair, is it? And what two people do during an affair comes up. Estelle goes, "Oh, you know, but you know what they were doing." Also, it's funny because Estelle goes through the closet and finds wine and a cigarette box, and they're like, "How did you know that was there?" She was like, if I was selling a place, I would hide these in closet space that looks like it wouldn't have them, so I just thought I would look." I'm not gonna tell you why, but I'm sure you can connect the dots of how she knew that that was there. If not, read the book. Um, anyway, it's just really cute. I like I said, I gave it one spice because there is talk about relations. There's not you don't see the acts, but they talk about it. So I put it in there. Um, my nose is so itchy right now that it's the allergies. My neighbor was mowing. I know it. Coming in through the windows. The windows are closed. Oh, now they're weed eating. I can hear it. Anyway. It was a really good book. Okay, let me go back to my ending. Like this video if you like this video. Comment below. Have you read Anxious People? Do you want to read Anxious People? Um, if you do want to read Anxious People, I'll leave a link for my Amazon list that has all the books from my adult reading challenge and my preteen reading challenge. That's really hard to say. I don't know why I have to write it that way. That's how I typed it up. Preteen teen reading challenge. And you can find it on that list. If you want to do my reading challenges with me, I'll leave a Google Doc, which is free, in the description also. And I have 3 challenges going on. If this is the first time you're seeing me, I do a adult reading challenge, which some of them might not be adult books, but because I couldn't find for sure if they were adult books or preteen books, I put them on my adult reading challenge just to be on the safe side. And my preteen teen reading. Oh, also the adult challenge is not all spicy books. Okay, some of them just hit adult topics like anxious people, um, or you know have themes like bank robbing. And the preteen teen reading challenge is the ones that I'm like, okay, I've looked them up. It says that it's for 9 to 13, or it says that it's safe for 15 to 16 years old, like whatever. That's why I deemed them safe. Um, I also do a children's reading challenge through Paper Pie. I am a Paper Pie branding partner. So if you want to do that challenge with me, I'll leave the Google Doc for that also, and the link for the Paper Pie reading challenge, so you can go straight to Paper Pie and get all of the books or whatever books you decide you want to read with your kid. Um, if you use my links that take you to places where you have to buy things, there is the Paper Pie one. I definitely get money for when you buy the books, but the Amazon one, maybe, maybe. I don't understand it, to be honest. I have read through everything, and some books it's like, yes, for sure you're gonna get, and then sometimes it's like, well, because this book falls under this, and so I'm like, I'm not gonna go through and check each one, so good luck. Um, Subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and if you're not sure if you want to subscribe, then you can click my face bubble. It'll pop up down here, or you can click like you're gonna pause my video and find my name, a coffee drinker's review, and it will take you to my channel. I do a lot of book videos. I have book mail video coming up soon. I do a TBR versus what I actually read, and adult challenge, my challenge ones, and I also do NetGalley videos, which I need to get on because I'm behind. I'm working on my Goodreads challenges right now. I have like 3 books to read for that before the end of March. I'm trying. I want to get it done. I'm like, when I have a challenge, I am a completionist. And when I play games, I'm a completionist. I play Stardew Valley sometimes, not on here, but I'll play Stardew Valley, and I'm trying to complete all of the goals and all of the tasks. Or like, I just got real upset because I was trying to do. I was playing Sims, and one of the um challenges that you have is like to get one Sims 10 um skills all the way to all the way complete. And I got to 9 before the Reaper came for her, and I was like, "Oh." And so sad. Ugh, start all over again. And yeah, I'm playing a new game called Star Sand Island. It's really good. I might have to play it on here once I get the hang of it. But I still have to finish Nancy Drew, so we'll work on that later. Um, yeah, I do Nancy Drew videos on here, and occasionally I will, do random reviews. I just haven't found really anything to randomly review, and places. Oh, I might be reviewing a strawberry patch soon. I'm not sure. That's really all I have to talk about. Share my video because sharing is caring. And I will see you on my next video. Bye.